Hey guys, yo, what's up? It's your boy Muzi back at it again with another review of Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 76. And now, I know that I'm a little bit late on this one, like I think I'm almost maybe like a week and a half late, and I really apologize about that. Like, as I told you guys in my playthrough, I have like a lot of things that have been keeping me busy. That doesn't mean that I'll always be late on my reviews, but just the past month or so, like ever since like September, maybe a little bit of October, uploading videos has been a little bit difficult, but I'm gonna try to get back on the grind train, so don't worry about it. I'll still have more content for you guys. I'll still make more and better content, so just don't worry about that. Anyways, so in this manga chapter, I'm a little bit conflicted because there are two sides of me whenever I review Dragon Ball Super manga chapter. You know, the benefits of doing something when you're a content creator, like a YouTuber basically, or someone like maybe you voiced your opinions or on Twitter, but mainly when you have a following, you know, even if the following is small, but if you have a following, you tend to be like responsible and you tread carefully. Not to say that I'm trying to cater to people, not to say that I just want to appease people and just give them what they want to hear, but you just have to be responsible and not call something shit. If something is shit, you have to be able to word it and explain why something is shit. Now, again, this manga chapter is actually not shit. In terms of writing, Toyoator has been able to convey what he wanted to convey in terms of Vegeta's characters, in terms of Granola's character. However, there is two sides here, like I told you. There is a side of me critiquing the writing and say, okay, the writing makes sense because to a large extent, a lot of the things that happen this manga chapter, it makes sense. Even with Vegeta's character, it made sense throughout. Though there is the other part of me, which is the Dragon Ball fan. Now, this part of me, the Dragon Ball fan, isn't as objective as the other part of me. So that part of me is pretty subjective and wants to be entertained. Now, was this manga chapter entertaining for me as a Dragon Ball fan? The answer, the sad truth is, I wouldn't give it like a big score basically when it comes to entertainment, because it was just very disappointing, to be honest. Like, if you're gonna wait a month for something, for a hype like fight, for something epic to happen, I just didn't feel it, to be honest. I feel this manga chapter has been a little bit stretched, a little bit too long. Like, it felt like a lot of the stuff happened, like 3 segments or 4 segments, 4 stuff happened, and it's like 48 pages or 48 panels. So yeah, basically the pacing wasn't that great. But again, right now I'm going to mix a little bit, talk to you, walk you through things, and tell you what I liked, what I didn't like. But again, the writing wasn't as bad as some people were trying to suggest, and we'll get to that. So basically the manga chapter starts with Granola just firing a bunch of energy waves or ki blasts or whatever the attack he does, because he unlocked his other eye, he unlocked like the complete Sharingan or whatever, and he basically overpowers Vegeta. And there's an interesting line of dialogue which Granola notes and directs our attention towards the fact that Vegeta is indeed not getting any stronger. Basically, he says that you're not getting stimulated or you're not being invigorated by my attack. And this is the whole thing about the Ultra Ego and why I found the application very fascinating, because it has to do with Vegeta's mentality. Now, Ultra Instinct, I explained this in the previous manga chapter. Ultra Instinct has to do with being calm, tranquil, like similar to Super Saiyan Blue, but in terms of like you have to be able to control your emotions. So you don't really, it's not really something that is triggered by rage, you know. But in terms of what the trigger is for Ultra Ego, it's Vegeta's own psyche, his own like pride, his own like instincts to destroy. And all the stuff that he's doing in this manga chapter is him trying to revert and regress to a point where he couldn't regress, which is ironic because a lot of people have been saying that Vegeta has been regressing a little bit. Like, sometimes like he seems like he's been regressing, and in this manga chapter it feels like, I don't know if Toyoator actually knows about some of the criticism, but maybe he's trying to show that Vegeta's trying, because we later realized that he was trying to become like that destroyer, destroy these thoughts, get rid of these thoughts, get rid of the past, but he cannot escape the past, and he talks about that. So I pretty much like that. However, as a fan, what I didn't like, I felt like it was unnecessary. Like, okay, Toyoator, that's what you want to accomplish. You want to accomplish the fact that Vegeta is trying to regress to an earlier stage for him to be able to cope with this new transformation, this awesome transformation, but he couldn't. But then again, from a marketing perspective, from another perspective, what are you going to do with Vegeta, this form? Like, okay, he could master it, but how is he going to master it? Like, is this going to be one of the bullshit things? They're going to be like, oh, maybe he should change the way you think entirely. Like, it doesn't need to be derived by instinct. It can be derived by something else. And maybe that's how it's going to be later on. But I just found it confusing and ultimately not satisfying, because when you do something, guys, when you do something as a writer, you sort of build up to a moment. You know, let's talk about Gohan. You know, Gohan going Super Saiyan 2 against Cell. Gohan didn't fight against Cell and went Super Saiyan 2 immediately. What Gohan did is, of course, he trained before with Goku. He's been hinted that he has like this hidden power. He fought against Cell. Then he decided, hey, yo, I'm not a fighter. I don't like to kill. I don't want to kill you. Okay? So we have an insight towards Gohan's psyche, how he thinks. Now we go to how Cell thinks. Cell thinks, yo, this sounds like a challenge, which is sort of like a nice twist. It's like, oh, you don't want to fight me? Well, that makes me want to fight you even more because I want to see your powers. So he starts shitting the what do you call them? The Cell Juniors. Cell Juniors are tormenting all the Z fighters, and Gohan is watching everybody getting tortured. So what does that do to Gohan? It just makes him feel like he needs to do something. He's helpless. He can't do something. Android 16 comes in. He talks to him. Android 16 dies. And then snap, he goes Super Saiyan 2. That moment, payoff. Build up, build up, build up, payoff. The thing with this moment, I don't see the payoff. The payoff at the end of the manga chapter is, again, I'm going to mention it right now. I'm supposed to mention it later. But hey, Bardock, okay? I don't have a problem with Bardock. I'm one of the few people, very few people, that hate Dragon Ball Minus. I hate Dragon Ball Minus, but I like the inclusion of Bardock. I'm going to talk about that at the end. But again, that's not a payoff towards the moment of Vegeta. Because Granola, to me, and I talked about this, Granola is not supposed to be someone who wins this fight. He's supposed to be someone who got his power in a way that is unjustified, and he fights against people who got their powers justifyingly. And he loses against them, and that teaches him a lesson. That also teaches a viewer a lesson that you shouldn't always go to the easy way. Like, if I want to build muscles, I won't get steroids to get stronger. Now, again, they can still keep with this theme. I'm not saying that the Toyoator is not going to keep with the spirits of this theme. He's not going to introduce that later on. But I'm just saying, in terms of this manga chapter, just analyzing it in an isolated incident, or just like by itself, basically. So, in terms of what Toyoator was trying to do with the character of Vegeta, and his quest of trying to regress to a character by also simultaneously showing us that he also progressed as a character, because he could no longer be the savage Saiyan Prince Vegeta. Even though we saw glimpses of him being that character with the way he talks, the way he was kicking, he kicked Goku in a way that is like a callback or whatever, a throwback to him being kicked by Android 18. I don't see the parallel. Why would Toyoator draw that? But hey, Toyoator likes to do that, so you can just use it. You can just use it as an Easter egg or whatever. But yeah, so Toyoator, I won't say he's a bad writer because of this manga chapter. And if you like this manga chapter, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna say like you shouldn't like this manga chapter, because again, you can criticize anything. I've mentioned this, guys, before in my previous manga chapters. You can criticize anything, but you just have to find the right angle to criticize it. And sometimes it's fun to criticize something. Not I'm saying that you should always criticize something, but hey, again, I'm sort of mixing my own objective and subjective opinion. My objective opinion being the YouTuber that is trying to analyze this for you, and subjectively the fan. So yeah. But so let's talk about Goku intervening in this fight, because Vegeta was basically losing the fight as previously, and it's kind of annoying because everybody previously were talking about, yo, Vegeta didn't lose the fight. What are you guys talking about? He's gonna he didn't lose. He's gonna come back stronger, whatever. But again, in terms of like his fighting, I think Goku was a lot more impressive in this fight. Like, not only does he save the Vegeta from potentially being like either one-shotted or severely injured, maybe even killed, but yeah, he saves Vegeta in his Super Saiyan Blue form, and he fights against Granola. Impressively manages to figure out his body and manages to figure out how to counter, not really counter, but how to survive and how to deal with Granola's attacks. And he says that he can change the vital points before, like, there's a lag time when he hits, and he's able to basically move his body, just adjust his body, or just anticipate the attack so it doesn't hurt him. And he does pretty well, to be honest, Goku, which I like that. Like, it feels, even though Goku's not taking center stage, I'm a fan of the fact that Toyotaro's is adding a little bit stuff more for Goku, like in terms of how he fights in an intelligent way, about how he heals himself. So those are all welcome additions when it comes to Goku's character and the show as a whole. Now, Granola is acting as ever cockingly in this fight. He is like fighting with Goku, and Goku is like I just said, he's been doing pretty well, to be honest, for someone who's using Super Saiyan Blue. Again, I feel like this is part of Goku fighting intelligently. Like, supposedly Goku's not supposed to be like on par with Granola at this point in terms of speed and strength, but because he's incorporating some of the Ultra Instinct moves with his attacks, that he's able to dodge. But again, Granola says this, so Toyotaro does mention the fact that even if he can dodge his attacks, he still doesn't have the power to finish him, which is also similar to the way that, if you remember, Moro was the same thing. When Goku unlocked Ultra Instinct Sign against Moro was like, yo, this is pretty decent, you can dodge, but you can't finish me with these attacks. Your attacks are too weak. So this is similar. Now Vegeta gets up and he tells Goku that he wants to fight Granola by himself. This is actually pretty similar to the way that when Vegeta wanted to fight Kid Buu to buy the Goku sometimes charge a Spirit Bomb, or to actually not charge a Spirit Bomb, but for Goku to charge back his power, which he eventually failed. Then he used a Spirit Bomb. But anyways, he does the same thing because Goku tells him, yo, don't die, and he wants to do this himself. This is a fight not to save the universe, so he doesn't have that same motivation to fuse. He's being stubborn in his own way. He wants to do things his own way. That's totally fine. Again, that's totally fine because it's been consistent with the theme of how Vegeta was written in these last manga chapters. I would have a problem. Again, it's a problem for me if there was an inconsistency with it. Like, I don't like it, to be honest, but I don't think it's inconsistent with Vegeta's character so far in the previous chapters. Again, also Granola, same thing. He's being stale. He's being the cocky. I have a grudge on you. Whatever. Okay, maybe he's not as bad as it was in the previous chapter because I expressed how much I disliked him in the previous chapter. He's a little bit more tolerable in this chapter than the previous one. So, I think here is where people would point out to the fact that Vegeta has experienced a lot of growth, and to be honest, I do agree with a lot of those people. I think Toyotaro does well. Like, again, what I said at the beginning of this review, what Toyotaro was trying to accomplish, he has succeeded, because he's trying to show us the psyche and mentality of Vegeta, and has been consistent with the Vegeta that he's been writing for the past few chapters, because Vegeta is doing a lot of reflection ever since, actually, it feels like this is sort of like a Toyotaro approach ever since the Moro arc, when Vegeta starts to reflect upon himself and thinks about how he used to do a lot of like bad stuff when he killed the Namekians and he killed all these children, and he's starting to repent and also try to redeem himself. So here he talks to Granola and he says, you think you survived all this time just to take revenge on us? There's nothing more to your life. Again, these words are mirroring of the fact of how Vegeta used to walk life back then. He used to walk life with a chip on his shoulder, and he used to just feel like he didn't live his life like how he wanted to live his life, because he was controlled under Frieza. So there was no meaning to his life. And after he met Goku and formed a family, there started to be more meaning. And then he follows by saying, and he talks about that the drive for revenge has rotted away what was in his head. And so he tells Vegeta humbly, realizes, very well, who am I to deny this grand mission of yours? No regret then, hit me with everything you can muster. Here, it feels like Vegeta's trying to be judged for his actions. This was a little bit weird for me because this was also interesting to see Vegeta talk in this way, but it also feels like Vegeta wants to be judged by him because he feels like the Saiyans has done this to him, and Vegeta feels a little bit responsible towards that. So Vegeta goes to his Ultra Ego form, and he tells him that, as I explained, this power is unbounded. It has no limits. And which is kind of funny because this form has no limits. Again, we see the Ultra Ego form, but honestly, it doesn't do that well. He actually takes Granola to the city, and he starts fighting with him, and Granola pleads to him and says, "Not here, take this elsewhere." So Vegeta says, "Oh, and here I thought you didn't care about anything." And Granola still says, "Not here, let's take it somewhere else." And Vegeta then does the bite, which is kind of like, okay, it's funny, but I feel, okay, Vegeta said that I'm fighting for not saving the world. So I feel like here biting doesn't really reflect like Vegeta's character, but I don't know, like it just felt weird. Like I'm not gonna sit here and rant about the bite, but it's just funny that he uses the bite. I just don't think it's consistent with the character that Toyoator is writing. But hey, who am I to deny some comedy, right? So Granola pins down Vegeta, and Vegeta laughs maniacally here. Like his face is drawn so funny, and he's like, "Haha, can't quite use your precious rapid fire moves here, can you?" Which Vegeta's laugh doesn't last too long, as Granola says, "Well, at this range, the city will be fine." And Vegeta just gets fucked by the amount of rapid fires, and then the one who's laughing here is actually Granola. And after the dust settles, Vegeta's completely defeated. Yeah, Vegeta has basically lost, and I just didn't like the way he lost. He like, again, from a fan perspective and someone who likes Vegeta, like I do like Goku and Vegeta a lot. Like I do, like I'm not the kind of person who would take any side of each character. So I like to see them both shine equally. But the way Vegeta was treated here, like, come on. Like, okay, you want to give him this sort of, like, spotlight in terms of, like, how the shift of mentality, how he progressed as a character, how he's trying to redeem himself, the way he talks. I just feel it's not a good look. It's just not a good look for Vegeta to be defeated this way. Come on, guys. Like, I know a lot of people are going to defend this and say it's fine. But come on, guys. Like, let's be honest here. Would it really be bad writing if Vegeta won? Like, let's say I'm Toyoator. Actually, let's say I'm not Toyoator. Let's say or you are, or whoever is writing Dragon Ball Super, and that writer made Vegeta win or made Vegeta stand out a little bit more. Are you gonna criticize him? Just before you criticize me, answer me this question: are you gonna criticize someone who writes this chapter while having Vegeta winning? If your answer is yes, then you're allowed to criticize me. Other than that, maybe you can criticize me in a different way. But anyways, so Granola basically is so tired, and then we get like Minato or whatever, Minato, the Namekian elder, comes here and tells us that, yo, the guy who has saved everyone is actually Bardock. And that's where the cliffhanger is. Again, I know I didn't mention the fact that Granola got really insane and he almost killed Vegeta. So yeah, he almost was going to kill Vegeta. Vegeta was basically accepting the fact that he could lose and he could die. And he says, I couldn't revert to that callous, unfeeling man I once was. The god of destruction powers are beyond the scope of a novice like me. And he apologized to Beerus. Okay, like, for some people, a lot of people are going to be like, yo, this is such a humble line, it's such a badass line, but to me, it just makes Vegeta look like a little bitch. Like, I'm sorry, but it just makes him look like that. You could disagree with me, but again, it's very hard for me to just look at this and not be like, yeah, Vegeta just got bitch slapped, he got destroyed, and he just humbly realized that, yo, I'm not good enough. Yeah. That's how it is. I'm gonna die. Like, fuck the fact that I have a kid back home, I have a wife, I have a quest to become a stronger version of myself. No, just let me die. So I don't know, man. It's just so weird. Again, like I said, it's consistent with the way that Vegeta was written the past chapters, but I just don't agree with it. And I just didn't feel there was much payoff. Like, there wasn't payoff in this scenario where we're like, oh my god, yo, such a payoff, goosebumps. yo, I feel so good from this moment. Instead, your attention is derailed from Vegeta's sort of like self-sacrifice or whatever towards the fact, yo, Bardock is actually the one who saved them. So yeah, I don't know, man. Yo, I feel like I spoke way too long about this manga chapter, and my review is like over 20 minutes long, so I'll just end it here. I'll talk about Bardock in a different video. Maybe tomorrow I can make a separate video towards Bardock and one. I think that the inclusion of Bardock here isn't as bad as some people think. It's actually a good inclusion, and I'll explain that why. Even though I dislike Dragon Ball minus Bardock, I agree to a certain extent with the utilization of Bardock. I know some people think that the more you mention Bardock, the more you devalue him. However, like I said, in this scene, I will disagree with these people, and I will talk about that tomorrow. So if you guys enjoyed, I forgot to give the rating for this chapter. This rating for a chapter, from a writing perspective, I would say it's a 6 or 7. But in terms of enjoyment, to be honest, I would say it's a 4 or 3, to be honest, because I did not really like it. And again, it could be because I'm biased, but as a fan of the series, it was difficult for me to enjoy this chapter. It was a rough read for me. But again, if you guys disagree, it's totally fine. Let me know what you guys think about the comments down below, and if you like this video, then please like it. Like it. If you want to dislike it, I know people who disagree, they always like to dislike the video. You can dislike the video, it's fine. And I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.